Hey, good evening. What is up, people? It is episode 12 of the Wulong Talks podcast. My name is Jason. Hope you all are doing fine today. It's good to be back, man. It's been a little while since we've done one of these. So, yeah, we're all feeling good tonight, I believe. As usual, I'm joined by my cohorts, Alvin, the big man geek. Big A, what's going on?
I'm good. How's everyone? Even though you can't answer because this is a recording.
It's all right, man. We're breaking the fourth
Yeah,
wall. Well, technically, it
like
would be
Deadpool.
like the fifth wall, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would be like a fifth wall almost, I guess. But yeah, there you go. And of course, the Rustling Kid, although he's quiet tonight, so yeah, he might not have that nickname for much longer. Rich Kid, what's up, man?
That's not my nickname, and I'm good.
It
Yeah,
is
I'm
now,
good.
man.
I'm good. Yeah, like, yeah. Happy, yeah. Welcome to the 12th. So what is this? Because I think the last anniversary we had was like the nine episode mark. I know we
Yeah,
had that
no,
thing of like,
episode 10.
we could. So this is like 12. This could be a year.
Pretty
Yeah,
much, yeah.
if these were months, this would be December the 31st, and we'd be going into 2017 or 2020 or whatever age you want to pick. So yeah, this is a milestone. This is a landmark. 12 issues.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, 12 issues.
Very
Some
true.
co- some comics don't even make it to 12 issues, man. Fuck that shit. So yeah, well done, lads. Well, pat on the back to all
Very
of
true.
us.
Collective pat on the back
Yeah,
for
yeah.
everybody.
Did you just say collective pat on the black or on the
Yeah,
back?
yeah, on the black.
On the black back. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
love
cool.
that. Yeah, I hope everybody is all good this evening. As you can tell, we're kind of having fun tonight. We've enjoyed ourselves, as we should do when we do these kind of things. Hope you all have been very good. Those of you who are listening to us live on YouTube, what's up? What's up? Big yourselves up. And those of you who are listening to the recording the next day, well, what's up to you too, man? Uh, it's been a while, as said, since we've been on. I've been away for a little while, so let's find out what everybody's been doing, man. Alvin, how have you been? What have you been doing? Have you been doing anything geeky, interesting, or just up in Manchester playing with yourself?
A bit of both, really, to be honest. There's not been a lot for some reason. Every time when you ask that question, I completely entirely forget. I think it's because I watch a lot of the same things that I just save that information for when we're actually talking about things instead of saying it. So it makes it sound like I've done nothing, but I'm actually been doing other things.
Cool.
Aside from touching stuff.
Yeah, I've started touching myself. Every normal person does, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Cool. Rich, what you been up to, mate? Anything fun?
uh, just been catching up, really. A couple of TV shows, couple of films, couple of computer games. Shout out to my boy St. George for hooking me up for Final Fantasy 15, but we'll touch upon that later on in the show. But just the same old. I think we're getting old. I think we're getting old, boys. Like, we're getting old, man. Like, when like, I remember, like, being young, and they'd be like, hey, what you been up to? It's like, yeah, man, I went to this girl's house, and I went to this bar, and I went to this club, and I woke up one day, and I had one shoe, and I didn't know what happened, and I had a tattoo. And, like, now it's just like, what you been up to? Yeah, nothing, man. Like, it's cold outside. Literally. I don't, like, what day is it? So there's just the same old for me, really. I mean, like I said, but we'll touch upon those things later on down in the show. But
Cool.
nothing major to announce though.
Cool, fair enough. Well, listeners, as you may or may not know, those of you following me on social media, um, I went away on holiday, as I mentioned on the last podcast, and went to Thailand and had an amazing time while I was there. Um, we stayed in two different parts of the country, so we actually stayed in Phuket, down in the south, which is a little island resort, and then we stayed in Bangkok, in the capital. Phuket was everything you could imagine of a tropical paradise. It literally was that. It was, beautiful beaches everywhere, cheap food, really good beer, lots to drink, lots to see, lots to do. I went to a couple of Ladyboy shows, which was actually awesome. Really, really fun. Like, the Ladyboys certainly know how to entertain you folks. Not in that way, but in terms of putting on a show, they know what they're doing. But that was really, really enjoyable. And then we spent part of our time in Bangkok, which was, yeah. I mean, Bangkok's nice. I like it. It has its appeal in terms of that it's a city, it's vibrant, it's got that kind of city vibe to it. And, we stayed in a hotel, which was pretty plush. And we were actually staying quite high up, and we had a really good view of the cityscape of Bangkok. So mornings when I'd wake up and look out the window and imagine I was, the bad guy in a Asian action movie, and all that was missing was, a glass of cognac in my hand and concubines. But it was really, really nice in that regard, but it's seedy as hell. Like, if you've ever seen that movie Bangkok Dangerous, and I'm not talking about the Nicolas Cage version, I'm talking about the original one. Yeah, Bangkok's like that, pretty much. There was one point where we went out for evening, in the evening, myself and the missus for dinner. And we decided to take a walk through the red light district, as you do. And, I've been to quite a few red light districts in my time, and I've been to different places. And, there's always a kind of like a cheeky vibe to a red light district. Wherever you go, you can kind of walk through there with a bit of a wink and a nod. And, everybody's like, oh, this is a bit saucy, in that kind of, British way that we have of doing things. But with Bangkok, it was just like, wow, this is like biblical Sodom and Gomorrah, for those of you listening who know your Bible. Yeah, if you can picture Sodom and Gomorrah in your head, that's Bangkok. And like literally it was just an absolute assault of filth. There was people selling dildos right outside the tube station, along with Cialis and Viagra. There were prostitutes literally on every corner. There was one area we went to where literally my missus was the only woman who wasn't a prostitute. Like every other woman was a prostitute. There was some street vendors who were selling food, and literally around the corner from where they were selling food, we saw a gang of rats. Now these rats, I call them rats. They look more like Master Splinter and 3 of his brothers, because they were that big. I literally was expecting the turtles to pop up at some point and come out of the sewer somewhere. It was grim, to say the least. But yeah, that was a bit of a shocker. But Bangkok was beautiful. But I'm fully rested, and it seems like there's been so much going on since I've been gone. It's crazy. I mean, we're 3 weeks away. Well, less than 3 weeks away. What am I talking about? I mean, it's what is it? A week now until Rogue One? Basically,
yeah,
a week, right?
Next week. I would have seen it by this time next week already.
Yeah. So it's like a week away, which is crazy. Like, I can't believe that. It seems just the other day that I watched the original, teaser trailer when it came out, and now it's here. So we're going to get into Rogue One. But first of all, let's talk a little bit about Doctor Strange, because we haven't really had the opportunity to talk about that yet. And we were supposed to do a podcast on Doctor Strange, but unfortunately we weren't able to get around to doing that, listeners. Sorry, but we'll do need to kind of have a conversation about it, because it's been quite successful at the box office, as we've seen, and people are really digging the movie and definitely learning a lot about the character as well. So, guys, quickly, just with regards to Doctor Strange, what did you make of the movie? Did you enjoy it? Was there anything that kind of stood out for you? And what would you give the movie as a mark out of 10?
Alvin, you can go first.
Sorry,
Okay,
yeah, Alvin,
no
you can go.
Overall I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. I liked the fact that it was kind of more standalone than your average Marvel movie, just because it was dealing with something completely different that we've kind of seen, I suppose, like with like the Thor movies a little bit, but I only hinted at possibilities, whereas this goes like really deep into it, and it focused pretty much wholly on that, which was great. Wicked visuals from like Tilda Swinton and Chiwetel Ejiofor and Benedict Cumberbatch as well. And yeah, everyone in it was more than competent, and there was some, like I said, wicked things that we've not seen before, like all the time stuff and whatnot. and all the visuals were just fucking insane and really cool to see in 3D. I really enjoyed seeing it in 3D. And yeah, I mean, it's solid all around, really, to be honest. I can't even really think of any real problems. I'd have to nitpick to come up with issues that I had with it.
Cool. Richard, did you want to add anything on top of that?
Yeah. Like I said, same thing Alvin said. Visually, it's just amazing. I can imagine like this is the closest you can get to experiencing LSD without taking LSD visually before your eyes. Like some of the bits when he's going through the different dimensions was just amazing. Literally just amazing. It just reminded me of what I expected in Inception, or what Inception promised me. And I didn't get. I got it from certain scenes in Doctor Strange, like the world bending and worlds going in and at each other and pocket dimensions inside dimensions inside dimensions. I mean, that was just awesome. The film as a whole was really good. I have to admit, I did do like a 60-second review of it, and that was done when I finished coming out from seeing it, and I was a bit hyped up, so I did give it a bit of a high mark. But then in retrospect, when I do look back at it, and this is after talking to other people as well, they did point out a few things that a few flaws with the film, which weren't bad flaws, so to speak, but they were flaws nevertheless. And also, I did change my score from a 9 to, let's say, like a 7. But like I said, we can talk about that after everyone's given their own little brief thing, and can chime in a little bit as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, I think we'll probably do like a retrospective podcast on it, I guess, because it is worth talking about, I think. So, yeah, we can definitely go into some details with that in a future pod. For me personally, I overall kind of enjoyed it. I did love the visual. The visuals effects again were amazing. The world building aspects again were amazing. Benedict Cumberbatch is very, very good as Doctor Strange. He was really solid. The character I loved the most was Mordo, was Chiwetel Ejiofor's character. Mordo to me is really like the big draw for any sequel that they are going to do. I really want to know like where they go with him, especially with the end credit sequence that they added on there as well. But as I said, we will do a retrospective podcast on that, I think, because it's quite a lot to discuss with Doctor Strange. So we'll get to that. But yeah, man. Well, boy, we're not far off from Christmas, as you know, listeners. It's the festive season, and that means that there are going to be lots of Mood Use studios out there who are vying for your attention for all their big movie projects that are coming out next year. So as a result of that, we've had like bucket loads of trailers come out in this week alone. Perhaps the biggest one of them all for the three of us is going to be the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer, which unfortunately, because of time of recording and the fact that we're stuck in old Blighty, means that we're not going to be able to see it until tomorrow. So we may have to do a podcast next week maybe and then react to that. What do you think?
I'm down for that.
Yeah, cool, man.
Yeah, I think we can do that. We can do a podcast next week when it comes out and give it a proper going over. But yeah, we're all pretty much excited, I think, is fair to say. So yeah, we're looking forward to that one. So we'll go over Spider-Man when that comes out. But yeah, there's been like a plethora of trailers that have come out over the past couple of days. So let's get into it. First up, we got the brand new Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 trailer. This is a sequel, of course, to the successful Guardians of the Galaxy movie that came out a few years ago. And the trailer, for me, looks absolutely brilliant. I loved every minute of it. It looks like it's got all the same humor that the original movie had. Plus, it just looks spectacular visually as well. Some of the scenes that are included in the trailer are just breathtaking, and we only get like short glimpses of them. So I can imagine when the completed film is out, it's really gonna knock people's socks off in terms of what it does visually. Now, guys, what did you make of the trailer, man? Because as I said, I've like really sold on this. So I'll let you guys have a say. Rich, did you enjoy the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 trailer?
Yeah, I loved it. I like really, really loved it. And the thing that I enjoyed about it is that the first Guardians of the Galaxy film, I mean, aside from the trailers that were awesome in itself, like I remember when we saw the trailers, we were saying that the trailers for Guardians of the Galaxy were better than certain films that that had come out, like just those alone. And then you see the film and then you're blown away, and that's not even talking about the soundtrack. But with this second trailer, they just feel so much at ease. It literally just felt like, like just when you haven't seen like an old friend for some time, and then you go and visit them. Like there's no need for any formal introduction. Like we get thrown into it. We see Peter Quill, he's doing his thing, and there's nothing out of sync there. It's almost like like the last one hasn't even ended. It's just a nice continuation. That's what I like about it. And I was saying to somebody that I work with that if they're not careful, I mean, as much as we love the Avengers and all of the other Marvel movies, Guardians of the Galaxy, if it continues on this path, it could very well be like one of the major draws, if not the major draw for the Marvel universe. I mean, obviously, or for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Obviously, the Avengers are going to have the big guns, like for Captain America, Thor, and whatever. But for a team that was pretty much not really known a couple of years ago, unless you were a comic book fan, it's got people's chins wagging. People that weren't into this type of genre, this film alone, or the first film alone, has really, really got them like hooked into it. So I mean, the trailer I loved it. Like the whole thing of Drax just being Drax and Rocket Raccoon just being Rocket Raccoon. It ticked every single box for me, man. Once again, the music, the soundtrack for the trailer was amazing as well.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said that the person you were talking to was saying that they feel it might become the main thing for the MCU, because it seems to me like quietly they've kind of positioned Guardians of the Galaxy as like their major brand almost for the MCU. Because you tend to see like James Gunn quite prevalently within any kind of marketing for Marvel Studios now.
Yeah.
The Guardians film, as said, was a massive box office success, more than anybody really kind of predicted it could have done. And for a lot of people who don't know anything about Marvel and Marvel Comics and the MCU and anything like that, Guardians is their film. It's the one that they find the most accessible. It's the one that appeals to them the most. So yeah, I think you're right. You can definitely see that it's starting to become like the linchpin of the universe almost. That might change when Spider-Man comes out, but for now, certainly I think it's definitely very much up there in terms of the public consciousness, and in terms of the audience going public as well. It's very much up there in terms of the film that they're looking forward to the most. Alf, what stood out for you in the trailer?
Well, I mean, it's everything that you loved about the first film that you're being reminded of. Not that you needed reminding of it, but that's what was kind of great about it. Even though you didn't need reminded of it, it reminded you of everything that you liked about it, and just said, look, these elements are here again. Obviously, it's going to be a different story. Really change with these characters. These people interacting with each other is probably what's the most important thing about it. And I always say it's kind of like, for me, like Guardians was like the A-Team in space.
Yeah.
It was this ragtag group of very distinct, everyone's totally different, and they're all kind of on the same mission or on the same team, and they are kind of like best friends, really. They've got each other's backs, but they're dysfunctional. You know what I mean? So that's what's brilliant about it. It's like the characters have created their own family, and real families don't get on 100%, and everyone's got their quirks and all that. So it was great for character as well as action, and that's what stood out for it for me.
Yeah, for sure. So definitely, I mean, it's out May next year, isn't it?
Yeah. So, we'll probably get it a week earlier, though, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So, yeah, for all you Americans who are listening, but we're going to probably get it early because Marvel love us more than they love you. So, yeah, sorry. But, yeah, I mean, like, so roll on May next year is all I can say, because that definitely looks like it's one to watch. Cool. And then we got like quite a few trailers. One thing I noticed with a lot of the trailers this week is been that there's a lot of like kind of reboots and soft reboots or full reboots or remakes, flat out remakes of different properties. Now, I know this is an ongoing thing with Hollywood. It's something they've been doing for the last, sort of 6-7 years. But it just seemed weird to me that there wasn't really a lot of trailers for like original productions that came out this week. It was all kind of stuff that's older properties. But anyway, we move on. The next trailer that I noticed that we'll talk about is the trailer for The Mummy. Now, this is Universal's attempt to kind of reboot, speaking of reboots, to reboot another franchise. The Mummy franchise is something they've had for a long, long time. I think a lot of people will probably be more familiar with the Mummy movie that came out a few years ago with Brendan Fraser and Arnold Vosloo as the Mummy as Imhotep, I think they called him.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people, the audience nowadays will be kind of familiar with that, really. But yeah, this trailer, it was intriguing, I think, is the word I would use to describe it. Alvin, I know you had some pretty strong feelings about it.
It's not that there were strong feelings. It was more just that this fucking trailer, for me, like I like being given snippets of things, like little bits from mainly the first and second act, and maybe show one money shot from like the third act, no more than that. But don't give any freaking plot points away or anything. Whereas this pretty much showed me the whole exposition of kind of what happens before, obviously, the mummy like kind of appears out the sarcophagus and starts wreaking havoc. And I reckon I've guessed as to how exactly this film goes with a really important like plot point. I mean, there's the bit that they showed in the trailer where he wakes up in the morgue. I was just kind of like, from that moment, I was like, okay, firstly, he shouldn't have shown us that. Secondly, I think I've kind of guessed as to how this will play out. And I'm pretty sure that, and I don't know if I mentioned it to you guys in that chat that we're in, but I'm pretty sure I know exactly how this movie is going to play out because of that trailer. And not only that, the movie just seems uninspired to me anyway. It's Tom Cruise running away from things. We always see Tom Cruise running away from things. You know what, to be honest, if you put the Mission Impossible music to this trailer and you said it was the next Mission Impossible, I'd believe you because it doesn't look any different. There's nothing new here. Personally, that's what I think anyway from the trailer.
Okay, well, I mean, for me, I said, I'm kind of intrigued by it because it does feel different to me. I kind of struggle to explain why. Maybe it's something to do with the visual effects, but it does feel different. It doesn't feel like they're kind of trying to just retread the old ground from previous adaptations and things like that. It does feel like they're trying to kind of, go into a different mode. So I think it's I think it's all right. I mean, yeah, the Tom Cruise running thing, we all know it's Tom Cruise runs from stuff. That's what he does, but he does it better than anybody else in Hollywood. So, why not let him do his thing? But yeah, I mean, I thought it was quite intriguing. I like some of the visual effects, and it's got Sofia Boutella in it, who's awesome as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I'm willing to give it a shot, really. But Richard, what did you think, man?
I loved it. No, to lie, I'm slightly exaggerating. I can be a bit hyped up sometimes. Like, I enjoyed it. I didn't see any fault with it. I do see what you're saying, Alvin, where, there might be like a couple of plot points that they've kind of released in there, like the bit when he wakes up in the morgue, like he's in somewhere going to be tied to like the mummy, and he's like an undead warrior that's going to have to fight against the mummy. It could be going down that path. That's kind of what I saw. The whole thing with Tom Cruise running. Listen, if Tom Cruise makes a film and he doesn't run, then don't make it. Don't release it. Like Jason said, he does it well. If Tom Cruise made a sequel to My Left Foot where he played the Christie guy, that Daniel Day-Lewis played, and Tom Cruise is in a wheelchair, I don't give a flying F. At some point in that film, he needs to get out of the wheelchair and run because he does it well. I don't care. Simple, yeah. So
and that's with a giant dust cloud behind him.
Yeah. I do like the fact that, I mean, from what I gathered here, that there did seem to be a bit of a more human element to Tom Cruise, as in like the past few films that he's done, I mean, I know there's quite a few people who aren't Tom Cruise fans out there. I would generally have an ongoing debate with someone to say that right now, in Hollywood right now, Tom Cruise is probably one of the best action stars that we've got. I'm not saying that he's maybe done some of the best stunts, and if you compare him to people like Jackie and things like that, as in Jackie Chan, that is. But for consistency and for the amount of years that he's been doing it, and for some of the stunts that he's been doing, and for his age, he's still pulling out the stops. So the last few films that he's done, he's still stuck in this, like you said, this whole kind of Mission Impossible, I'm Tom Cruise, I don't feel any pain type of mode. But you did get snippets in the trailer where you see fear on his face and not knowing what he's facing. And the bit where the plane is kind of like rumbling. Did I just...
Hello?
Hello? Am I still there?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can. You're live
Yeah.
on YouTube, man. What's up?
Oh, sorry, but you know what it is? I didn't see the invite literally on the Hangouts. I tried to message you guys for the messaging thing.
Yeah, that's cool, man. No problem at all. No problem at all. Welcome.
Yeah,
Hey,
thanks. What's up?
what you do is this? What you do? There's another voice. What you do is this?
Because I was like, okay. I thought, because I was waiting for you guys. I thought, okay, cool. Let me just wait. Because I've never used this. I've always used Skype. I've never used what do you call it? I've never used the Hangout. It's my first time actually using it.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Cool.
Okay. So black man time, yeah? Is that what you're trying to say?
basically,
Trying to cover up,
pretty
yeah?
much.
All right, cool.
Well, listen, I mean, you're here, so why don't you
welcome.
introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are, man?
Oh, cool. My name is Osama. I go by the name of Two British Nerds, which is it's a podcasting community pop culture brand that I've really gone into building within the last 7 months. And I go by the name of DJ Savo because I DJ as well. So I got a love for pop culture, entertainment, I guess, in all forms and sizes. I love to talk. I'm a big Marvel fan because I grew up around Marvel, literally when I was a kid. So I'm just, I just love to just really just get into things, really. But I'm a big, just like pop culture fan. I love how the whole scene has changed drastically from like back in the last, I say 5 years. It's blown up completely. So that's basically me, really. I just love the whole pop culture thing, really.
Cool. Thank you, man. Welcome.
Sweet. Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
So yeah, you just arrived at a point where we were talking about the trailer for The Mummy. I don't know if you saw it.
That was dread.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah,
like
he's definitely a
outnumbered
DJ.
here, Alvin. So
I don't
Definitely
care.
a DJ.
I'm always in the dark anyway, so it don't even matter.
you know what it is for me? It's
True.
like it's one. Watching that trailer was basically, it was like watching a trailer for Mission Impossible.
That's what my problem is with it.
And
Why does no one get that?
and I question it's just, and the thing that really, it's just the same thing. It's like when you go to the mummies, when you trace it back to ancient Egypt, they were all black. So again, I'm getting another movie with people of color being whitewashed, and they're taking heritage, culture, and deities, ancestral deities, and people's, just people's lives, and they're just whitewashing it once again. So I was like, oh man, not again. I mean, like, not again. I won't be watching it. I watched. It was funny. I got into the whole because I love my books. I love metaphysics. I love the ancient sciences. I do a lot of reading and studying, and I got into it by watching a Mummy 1. And then it opened up a whole portal for me. But when I realized who the people that I was dealing with in the community and the black culture and how it's been distorted and stuff, it's like when I see trailers like The Mummy, I'm like, nah, man, they're not. They're like, come on, man, give me a person of color at least, So going and one thing I'm looking forward to is the Black Panther, because they've confirmed that 90% of the cast members, I believe, are going to be all black, which makes sense. So as for the Mummy trailer, I was like, nah, I wasn't a fan of it. I was not a fan of the Transformers trailer as well. I was like, I'm done with Transformers, man.
well, hold your horses on that one. We're getting to that. Don't worry.
Yeah. But
we're getting to Transformers, don't you?
yeah. But the whole mummy thing, it looked like it was just it didn't have any substance or even like on the physical level. It actually being like a movie revolve around like ancient societies or any residue of like it having any connection. It just seems like it's just another it's just another reboot, you know. Like you know, sometimes I think, will they reboot like the Marvel and DC universe within the next 50 years and do this all over again? Like it's going to be insane. But yeah, I was not a fan of it whatsoever, man.
Cool. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Richard, sorry, you were before Sava just joined us. You were making a point about Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah, no. Basically, it was this whole thing that he felt a bit more human in this one. More human as Tom Cruise can be, as compared to, let's say, like the other films that he's been in, which will be probably the last few films where he just played like, you know, the super spy who saves the world. So I did like that aspect of it, where like he generally, like I said, like he generally felt like, or from the feeling from it, he felt as if he was facing something that is not just going to be a walk in the park for him to defeat. Whereas like with that whole, you know, Mission Impossible thing, you know he's going to pull it off, and you know he's going to pull it off by doing this or by doing that. But with this one, I get the feeling of he's gone back into the territory of like the Edge of Tomorrow, where he is going to be facing something a lot bigger than him, and is going to, you know, kind of strip the main hero back to basics, and you're hopefully going to see this person get built up. But in saying that, this is only a teaser trailer. So, you know, it is what it is. For Sophie Boutella, the lady who's playing the mummy, yeah, I do understand what you're saying about, you know, maybe cast somebody black, but she's Algerian, man. That's good enough. We're making steps forward, man. So I think that can be a good step.
She's Algerian. Yeah, that's where I'm from, boy.
Oh yeah, so
one of your people right there, man.
Yes, exactly, man.
You know,
so yeah, so
yeah, no, it's cool, and that's interesting, right? It's interesting still. I guess they're still sticking it to North Africa in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just looks so serious, man. I'm just, you know, because I guess when you watch the first couple of movies, you don't really like. I like the Mummy 1, Mummy 2 was all that, but I don't know. It just like it seems like it was like a Mission Impossible movie, like the whole thing. I was like, yeah, this is blatantly like Tom Cruise like implementing some form of Mission Impossible. But I like him as an actor. I just don't know if he's for me it'll be different because I've never seen him put like in a role like this. I mean, the last time I saw him was The Last Summer, and that movie was, I mean, it had substance to a certain extent, which was cool. But I'll give it a go because I didn't know it was a friggin' teaser trailer. I'm just gassed on staying up to watch the Spider-Man trailer when that comes out tonight. But I'm like, woo!
Yeah. But the thing is,
Well,
the thing is, like when you're talking about the Mummy, I do understand what you're saying. Like, about the whole feel of it, because if there's one thing I will say about the original Mummy film, which you did bring up earlier, which starred Brendan Fraser, Arnold Vosloo, and Rachel Weisz and John Hannah, I think those films were the first two. The third film was a total pile of nonsense, but the first two films are probably the closest thing that we have for this generation of let's say like of Indiana Jones. They were perfectly cast script wise and everything. And the reason why I'm saying, and like, you know, some people could argue, but then, you know, you watch the Mummy 1 and you watch the Mummy 2, the right balance of like characterization and action is what we had in the original Indiana Jones. And then you get something like the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which came out like years later, and you're like, what the hell was that? Like the Mummy did that better, you know, the first two Mummy films did that better than you could have just basically taken that format and just used it for this film instead of getting like Sheila Booth swinging through the trees of CGI monkeys, you know, and you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah, no,
So Karen, sorry?
No, I was gonna say I'm just happy that because you know, everyone thought he was gonna be cast for the next Indiana Jones movie, and even though Harrison Ford is, you know, he's way old, but at least he's still doing the next one. I actually like, you know, one thing I liked about the last Indiana Jones movie. It felt like they tried to keep it, I guess, to the originals of having like less effects and stuff, like CGI and stuff. I think the only CGI I saw was like right at the end when I think when that UFO was flying out of the temple. But it was cool, man. But I totally agree with you regarding the Mummy movies. Like they did have that substance of, catering to the Indiana Jones, because it had like the felt of magic. You saw like Kemet, you saw Egypt. I mean, it was a very, very fun movie, and I feel sometimes with these reboots, they make them very, very. I don't know that sometimes they're just so darkish. I think that I was going to say Mission Impossible. Sorry, the Mummy reboot. It just seems like it has a very, very darkish tone. But then I understand because they're catering for 2016 and not 10 to 15 years ago, which I totally understand. But I just feel as long as they keep, I guess, some sort of substance to the originals, it should be fine. But like I said, I'll see what the next trailer is basically gonna say, I guess, for the Mummy. Yeah.
Cool. Fair enough. Well, let's wrap up the Mummy there. Alfie didn't want to add anything else, did you?
Nah, I already said my bit. I'm not into it.
Yeah, same as me, man. I can't do these reboots, man. It's just what makes it worse is like sometimes they don't even continue. Like the Ghostbusters, I didn't even watch that. I was like, nope. No.
Oh.
It's the whole of the they recast characters, and like I know like with Ocean 13s, they're doing a whole female cast. Ghostbusters a whole female cast. Like I understand, women, they want to have, I guess, more roles in movies. Like it caters for basically, I guess, the women out there. But then on the flip side, you got all these crazy feminists that are spewing their garbage into the movies and making just trashing the whole. I mean, they're trashing the movies, man. Like. Like when I see them, but it's just the whole reboot thing for me. It's just it's getting out of control. Like,
well, that's a whole next topic.
Yeah.
There's an entire podcast to that. That is believe me, that's a whole big issue that needs to be unpacked. But
yeah.
We'll get to that. So let's move on. As you mentioned it earlier, Salva, we're going to talk about Transformers: The Last Night, as much as it pains me to do that. The reason why it pains me, as you listeners will know, is because I love Transformers. Transformers is one of my favorite things. It was one of the franchises that I loved the most growing up as a kid. Basically the film adaptations have been nothing close to what the original animated series captured and what the original Marvel Comics run captured, and to a certain extent what the IDW Comics run has been doing as well. There's nothing there at all. There's no substance to it. So we got a new trailer for a new film, Transformers: The Last Night, and it basically looks like more of the same stuff again. I got into a bit of an exchange of words with somebody because they felt that I was being quite unfair, and that I was that these movies are made for a mass audience and they're popcorn movies, and I shouldn't be judging it to such high standards. To which my response was, well, if basic storytelling is considered high standards, then our society has fallen pretty bloody far. But for this new trailer, they look like they are doing yet another kind of soft reboot on that universe. From the trailer, from what I could tell, it looked like they are kind of going into the realm of alternate universes. I think that might be because of there was the scene featuring the Nazi flags outside of what looked like some type of British palace or something like that. So there was that scene, and there was the scene with that looks like it's set in medieval England. I've heard rumors online that apparently this story features Merlin and the Knights of the Round Table and mythical swords like Excalibur and so on. Guys, what did you make of the trailer? Rich, what did you think of it?
Wasn't a big fan. I haven't seen. I know. I'm actually proud to say that I haven't seen any of the Transformers films in the cinema. I'm proud of that. I should get a gold medal for that, I think. And this trailer is literally just reminded me why. Is actually quite sad. And that person who said that, the whole thing that is about appealing to to a wider audience. To a certain degree, there's a certain element of truth. But you know what? But be fair and try and stick to some form of source material when doing something. Like, you know, like, don't treat us like... Hold on to a second. Hello, Luke. I'm not sleeping. I'm on the phone. Sorry, my boy just walked in. Say hello quickly.
Hi. Hello, Uncle Jason.
Hello, Luca.
Hi. I want to Lego Batman. So,
You want to Lego Batman? Oh, awesome.
DuckTales.
Okay, so bye-bye. Say see you later.
See you later.
Bye-bye, Luca.
Bye.
Okay, Luca. No, that's mine. Go next. Go. Why are you up here, dude? I'm live on air. What are you doing? Okay. Yeah. So the trailer was a bit. It was just the same thing. It was just Michael Bay. Just, hey, let's blow things up for fun, and let's make these robots like big and have no character. Let's give Mark Wahlberg a mullet and pretend he's a scientist. No, you're not. You're Marky Mark. Like, you know, don't get me wrong. He's done some really good roles, but I'm not going to take you seriously saying he can make things. I don't believe it. And here you go. And so yeah, I watched it and I was just like, yeah. Like I know I won't be seeing it in a cinema. Like, and the thing is, and it's one of those things where I can basically go off the premise of saying this is the same person who did the first 4 movies. Is this Transformers 5 or Transformers 4?
5.
Transformers. Yeah.
This is number 5, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the first person who made the first 4 movies, and nothing has changed. So, you know, yeah, I'm wasting my time. Like I didn't want to talk about it. It's like, I think it's just money being wasted on a franchise, which for some reason continues to make ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. I'm finding it hard to get excited. Alvin, try and add some excitement, please, for the listeners.
Nope, not at all. No. Forget it. No, because like my problem with Transformers, I saw the first one in cinemas, right? I was quite excited. I was looking forward to it. I thought it looked cool. Went to see it. There was 1 or 2 stupid things that I didn't like, but overall, I pretty much like it. I do occasionally watch that movie. You know, then I went to see the second one, and it was kind of like, there's some cool shit in there, but the fucking story doesn't make sense. Hopefully they'll do better next time. Went to see the third one, and that's where I was like, no, I'm literally done. You fucked me twice. It's not happening again. So when I saw this trailer, I thought, okay, yeah, you know, it feels like it would be good or could be, but I know that's not going to be the case because I've seen every single Transformers movie. So I know that it's going to be overly long. It's going to be about almost 3 hours. An hour of that is going to be the freaking setup for a really simple fucking premise anyway, and there's just going to be people in it for the sake of it, and it'll just drag on, and it'll drag on for ages, and then there'll be about 45 minutes of action at the end, but it'll be too much to take all at once, and it's just going to be an incoherent mess just like the last one. And no, for me, I'll probably check it out like online maybe at some point, or like the Blu-ray or whatever, but I'm not excited for it. I'm not going to be tricked by it anymore. That shit that you're saying about Merlin, if that's true, that sounds fucking dumb. I don't see why, if it's an alternate universe, because I heard that it was like the reason why Nazis are in it is just because obviously Transformers have been here for fucking ages, and maybe Decepticons were helping out Nazis and some shit like that. I don't know, but I've just got no time for it anymore. I can't be tricked. I'm not going to be tricked. You already tricked me twice. You know what I mean? Because I had faith in you. I'm not going to be a Hmong again and get tricked by it. Not going to happen, no. So it was well cut, I'm not going to lie. And Michael Bay doesn't know how to film fucking action. He's great at that. But story-wise, Transformers has been whacked since the first one, in my opinion anyway.
Yeah, here. I mean, the same as you. I went along, I bought a ticket and I got on the train for that first movie. I got right on it and I was hyped about it and I watched it and I liked it, you know, and like you, I still kind of like it. There are problems with that first movie, but, you know, all in all, I do enjoy it. But the second one just kind of killed it for me. I just thought, what the hell is going on here? And just, it was a mess. It just was a real mess. So, yeah, for me, I think from all three of us. Unfortunately, we've lost Sava at the moment, listeners. I've been trying to get back, but I'm not sure what is going on. So we're going to have to soldier on, unfortunately. But from the three of us, you can take it that Transformers The Last Night is a big no-no, and we do not recommend that. So that's not happening. Okay, and then the next trailer was one that came out just today, actually, while we were busy in work, which was the Baywatch trailer. Now, this is another one that made a strong impression on you, Alvin. Now I'm going to come to you.
Okay. Well, I used to watch Baywatch back in the day. Like, well, oh, sorry, you're still talking. Go on.
No, you can go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So obviously, like, everyone used to watch Baywatch back in the day and that, but I haven't. I literally think it's like, this is no disrespect to anyone involved in the project. I can kind of see why they've done it because obviously, 22 Jump Street. And it is that kind of vibe that they're trying to go for. But I literally just don't see the point. I don't know what it's going to offer. To me, it's not that it's not even going to be funny. It's just like, what's the point? This and why? You know what I mean? Is it just to do something with the property? Certainly not nostalgia. You know what I mean? So I don't understand as to what it is. Yeah, The Rock jumping off an exploding boat, great. But what? Why? It's either should be funny or serious. It was neither. So I'm just kind of fucking confused. And I'm just like, what's the point? I just don't get it. I'm just like, why someone would pay to see it? I can't see. You know what I mean? But maybe what you two can enlighten me.
Well, I thought it was fun, but Rich, I'm going to let you respond to that and provide a rebuttal.
I thought it was fun. I think that they've definitely gone down the right route of doing it a lot more tongue in cheek, because as much as like in quotations, Baywatch took itself seriously back in the day, they knew what they were, and David Hasselhoff is a prime example of like he knows what he was. Like this is a guy who came off one show that was
is
pardon
is yeah he's still now.
He's still around.
No, he's still like that now. He knows what he is, not what he was.
Oh yeah, he knows. He knows what he is. So basically, being, coming from one show that was, about a talking car that could just do amazing things, and then straight into Baywatch. I think this whole 22 Jump Street route that they're taking is something that is definitely going to work for the franchise. His acting and his comedy is actually a lot better. It's actually gotten a lot better as he's stayed more in the in the movies and kind of veered away from wrestling. And Zac Efron, I think he's someone who actually doesn't get as much props as he deserves. And I think he's shown himself to be a decent actor and quite good at comedy as well. I generally just didn't have any fault with it. I thought that it was, the action in it was pretty good and the comedy in it was pretty good as well. I can see where, if it does make money, how it will, and if it doesn't, and if people like yourself, Alvin, decide to take a hammer down to it, I can see the reason why. It's like it's only going to appeal to a certain demographic, I reckon. The same way how it seems like in the same vein of, let's say, like, see a film like Bad Neighbors, the ones with Seth Rogen and his missus.
I like Bad Neighbors.
You like Bad Neighbors? So how the hell hold on? All right. So how the hell are you going to like Bad Neighbors?
That shit was funny. That's why.
Yeah, and who was funny in it?
What
was Zac Efron funny in it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
No. Don't say a little bit because you just said you liked it. No, because you say you liked the film because Seth
it's
Rogen.
not like he said anything out and out funny. Actually, to be honest, some of the frat people that like were living in the same house as him, some of them were funnier, had funnier lines.
Yeah.
The reason why he was a good antagonist. You know what I mean? Yeah. Seth Rogen was the one who had the jokes. He was a good antagonist, though. I do give him that. So, but he was funny.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say, so I think people that probably liked Bad Neighbors will probably like Baywatch as well. I can see those same type of people going to see it.
Perhaps you're right. Maybe.
Yeah, but you know what? Perhaps I am.
We'll see. 2017 is around the corner. I'll remember this conversation.
Yeah. But the thing is, I'm actually excited to see it because I know this has been in the pipeline for ages.
You're not excited though. Come on, man, you're not excited.
No. What I'm trying to say is that this film's been in the pipeline for ages, and one of the reasons why I'm excited is because you look at people like The Rock or even somebody like Kevin Hart, and and I remember seeing an interview with Kevin Hart, and he was going through a list of films that he was making, or a list of films that he's made, or and he was saying that, listen, all of this has been predetermined. Like, I've been coming to people with these projects, and this is all stuff that's been going ahead. So this whole thing of like Baywatch coming along, I'm excited to see how they're going to deal with it, with this well-known TV show, because they're obviously going to maybe try and change it into a franchise. I'm excited to see how they're going to do that. I'm not going to lie.
Baywatch franchise, you actually want that to be a thing?
Why? Listen, if they make a funny film and they can continue making a funny film about lifeguards that go and save people, why not? Why not? What? Because it's set about lifeguards. The main
No,
thing
because
is
it's rinse and repeat.
What do you mean? The thing is, anything can be rinse and repeat as long as it works and it does the job.
What can you offer new to that concept? You can't.
Okay, listen. Listen. Let me break something down to you. Yeah, porn is rinse and repeat. Yeah. Porn is rinse and repeat, literally. Yeah. So, and it gets the job done. Right? So what I'm trying to say is, I understand what you're saying about the whole thing, and I see that you're giving an answer because you're not a fan of it. But if it can get the job done, like literally, like, give me 2 seconds. Okay. There you go. Yeah, you have to lie down. Sorry, you have to lie down though. Lie down, please. Lie down into bed.
Are those instructions for us?
Yeah.
I think so. Listeners, tuck yourselves in, yeah? Lie down and get into bed.
The bedtime story.
Yeah, So because it's about to get real. It's about to get real now. No, basically, what I'm trying to say is that the thing is, if they can do the first one and it's funny and it's action packed and it works, and they can make a second one, and they can make a third one, then why not? That's my main point. That's the thing. Like, if they make the first one and it's a dud, yeah, then you're like, okay, cool. And then they make a second one and that's just as bad. Then you can start flying off the handle. They're making films like Transformers, like we just mentioned. That film was 5 films deep in. 5 films deep. So come on.
It's about as shallow as a puddle.
Exactly. So so at least from what I can gather, at least from what we've been given by Baywatch, at least we know what we're getting given. So I can't knock it for that. So that's the reason why, like, I'm interested or excited to see where they're gonna go. It'll be it'll be something different.
Well, I mean, I'm not excited for it. I can't say I'm excited, but certainly from the teaser trailer that we've got, The Rock it looks to be on top form, his usual charming self. Zac Efron, as you said, Rich, is somebody who's very underrated and flies under the radar quite a lot. I think he's actually got the potential to be a really great actor. And I've been impressed with a lot of his comedy work and a lot of the things he's done. So, yeah, I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'll check it out. It looks like a dumb, Friday night comedy, which I guess I'm kind of fine with on a level if it's funny. So, and there were parts of the trailer that did make me laugh. I can't lie. The gag at the end with you people in the police station with the black policeman, that actually kind of made me laugh. So yeah. I was like, okay, you know what? I'll give it a try. We'll see. But yeah, I'm willing to recommend that. Alvin, I take it that's going to be a no from you.
No.
All right, cool. And then Rich, you're happy to recommend it, aren't you? So.
Oh yeah, of course, definitely.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, listeners, we say keep an eye out on Baywatch, the reboot. All right, guys, did I miss any other big trailers this week? Because I think they're the only ones I got on my list. So, I mean, for movies anyway.
I don't think so.
Movie-wise, yeah, you're done.
Yeah, that was pretty much it, wasn't it? All right, cool. Well, let's move on because there are more trailers to discuss as well. It's actually been a big week for video games this week, and we've had 2 really big trailers come out this week. Well, one that is super massive, one that's very, very intriguing, and one which looks like quite an interesting sort of nostalgia fix. So first of all, we'll talk about the trailer for The Last of Us 2. Now, you guys, did you get the chance to see this?
Yep, that's all right.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that trailer was mind-blowing as a demonstration of what the technology in gaming can currently do. It was unbelievable. Like the texture work they've done to the skin of the characters in the game, and atmosphere, which it looks like they've captured exactly the same atmosphere that the original game had, and the kind of vibe that game had as well. It looks like they've done a brilliant job porting that over to this one, and bear in mind this is just a teaser trailer as well, so we don't even know what the completed gameplay looks like or anything as yet. But I was blown away by it. I really was. Alf, what did you think of Last of Us 2?
Well, I'm someone who's only played like the opening bit of the first game, but if there's one thing that's for certain, Naughty Dog. Like, I don't know if you've seen The Incredibles on like DVD and the extras in the making of. There's a saying at Pixar, which they have, I think, on the wall somewhere, and I think it's a saying that he came up with, I think, during the making of Incredibles, which was all of the buffalo, I think it was, meaning that they use everything they can to kind of tell the story, and I think Naughty Dog are fucking wicked at doing that, literally using everything they can to kind of tell the story and portray the characters in a certain way and whatnot, to have their games be like shit hot. So I totally get, even though we didn't see any gameplay and we just saw the characters of Ellie and Joel, I can totally get as to why people are excited for it, because they kind of know what they're going to get from the gameplay anyway. I think The Last of Us is more than anything else, because the gameplay is going to be more than competent. So yeah. I totally get it, and I totally understand why everyone who attended and obviously saw the trailer during PlayStation experience is hyped up for it. I think it's justified. And this is coming from a guy who doesn't even own a PlayStation. I'm an Xbox guy and PC guy, so...
Yeah, definitely, man. It's looking to be one to watch for sure. As you said, Naughty Dog are really kind of showing themselves to be like one of the few studios out there that gamers can really trust to deliver a consistent gaming experience every single time, which is impressive considering how many other studios have fallen off quite badly over the past couple of years with some of the stuff they've done. So yeah, it's really, really interesting to me. Rich, did you see the teaser at all?
Oh yeah, definitely saw the teaser.
Yep.
Made a point of it the minute I heard of it. Same thing, loved it. I think like both of you said, especially you, Alvin, Naughty Dog, I think they're basically like the Spielberg and Scorsese's and Ford Coppola's of the game world right now. And the thing is, I remember like seeing documentaries on when they're making other games like the Uncharted games and The Last of Us. The amount of effort that's put into these games, I think it puts shame to some of the people that make films or call themselves directors. Yeah, and I said it wholeheartedly, because I'll look at a game like I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it might be somewhat easier in certain aspects for a game as it is compared to making a film, where you can to a certain degree make this landscape and things like that. But when let's say, for example, you can just take the voice acting and the motion capture of, let's say, like Nolan North. That's perfect. Like you can't fault it. I haven't even actually played The Last of Us. I've only played I think the first half hour, or just got past the intro. And I was sold on that. So, I mean, even just seeing this trailer is the same. It felt the same way like when I watched the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, you become so invested in these characters, which is something which Naughty Dog do so well. That I just watched the trailer and I was like, hey, there's Ellie and there's Joel. Yeah, okay. What am I going to get my bag and we're all going to go together? Yeah, just let me know, and then we're done. I felt like that. It felt like just seeing old friends, and yeah, I really can't wait for that. And I can say this hand on heart: if anybody doesn't agree with any of us on this Last of Us 2 trailer, or in any of the games that Naughty Dog have put out so far, throw a comment down below, and then we can have a debate. We'll have a debate about, and we can debate about this all day as the reason why you think any different. But I can give it like a big thumbs up, as for everyone else to keep an eye out for it, and basically go and buy a PlayStation 4 specifically to go and get this game, and to get the first game, and to get the Uncharted games. Sony, you owe me money because I just did a big advert for you, man.
Careful, bro. Careful. The internet doesn't like that kind of thing, you know. They might turn around and start saying you're a Sony shill and you've been paid off. If you hear it echoing when Richard's speaking, that's because he's speaking from his mansion that Sony have paid for everybody. But no, yeah, I totally echo everything you said, Rich. Yeah, Last of Us 2. If you're a gamer of any description, you should be interested in Last of Us 2. I'm pretty sure it will be across PC format. It's going to be cross-platform, right? I don't think that's a PS4.
What, The Last of Us 2? No, PS4.
That's PS4 exclusive.
They don't share
it's exclusive.
Yeah.
Oh, that is naughty, isn't it? Cool. I didn't even realize that. I actually thought that it was available cross-platform. Oh,
nah, not even.
Clever. Very clever, Sony. Very clever. Yeah, well, a few people might be going out and buying the PS4 Pro then next year, I guess.
Yeah, you listen, with exclusives like that and the Uncharted series, you know, the head of Sony is basically sitting in he's sitting in an underground base, which is underneath like a volcano, with a bald head stroking a white cat.
With a scar underneath his eye.
With a scar.
Rougher. Well, yeah, cool, man. I mean, you also mentioned, Richard, the Uncharted game. I didn't get to see the gameplay footage for this. I know they've released, I think, about 8 minutes online or something like that.
Yeah.
But how's that looking, guys? Is that looking good as well?
Like, you know, like we just mentioned, like literally a couple of minutes ago, Naughty Dog, they can't put a foot wrong until they put that foot wrong, and I can't see them putting it wrong. Like I genuinely can't. Like they're a firm. It's not broke. Don't fix it. But you know what? How can we make it better? So stick to the original format. So for example, you can have like a Nintendo. Like, okay, Nintendo are known for making games, and then you had the NES, and then they were like, okay, well, listen, we're going to make a stronger machine, but we're still going to stick to the manifesto of what we do, which is make great games, and they come out with the Super Nintendo, and then they come out with the N64, and then they come out with the GameCube. I mean, so to speak, some of those machines aren't as great, but their thing is that they're always striving to be better, and that's the thing with Naughty Dog, and this is what you get with the trailer for Uncharted. It is somewhat the same thing, but for some reason it just feels different, and you just can't wait to go and to touch upon it. Is the way how they portray these characters on screen that makes you fall in love with them. So unless you guys don't mind, I'm literally just gonna go rampant on this trailer. So all right, since you guys haven't said anything, so basically this trailer, the setting
like you were gonna wait for an answer.
Yeah.
I mean, number one, the setting for this game is completely different. It seems to be set in like what, Alvin, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, like Afghanistan, maybe.
Yes, no,
like,
somewhere in the Middle East, like kind of like
somewhere in the Middle East, yeah.
Maybe like Iran or Syria or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, just that change of setting alone is just amazing. And then you're also playing a female, so it's one of those things where it's like, like they've made these subtle changes, but it doesn't matter. You still can't wait to once again like fully immerse yourself in this Uncharted universe. It doesn't matter whether you're playing like Nathan Drake or you're playing his brother, like if you played Uncharted 4, and that's the thing about Naughty Dog when it comes to making all these games. I remember seeing another interview with the guys when they were making it, and they were saying that they'd have a rough idea of like certain scenes that they know would be cool in particular games, but their first thing that they always did was say, okay, listen, let's think up this. One person would think up a story and another person would think up a character. So they've always maintained that the story is the main thing that they're going to push, and everything else they can add in afterwards, which I have to add is basically, which sounds like the complete opposite to how Michael Bay works as a film director.
Pretty much.
And that's the point I was making earlier on about this like a company like Naughty Dog put certain film studios or certain film directors to shame completely. For people that that he said they went to university and studied to make this, and then get paid this amount of money to make this film, and all they do is blow shit up. Oh, come on, man. Like don't insult my intelligence.
Mm.
But yeah, that's how I felt about the Uncharted trailer.
Cool. Yeah, well, it's definitely one that I'm looking forward to seeing more of. I mean, I still haven't even finished playing the third one yet, so I've got to finish.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I'm way behind. So yeah, I need to finish playing the third one. But yeah, the Uncharted series is a pretty solid series. I mean, there's nothing really that I can add that you haven't already said, Richard. So yeah, I think listeners definitely check out that gameplay trailer. It should be out on YouTube now, so check that out if you're interested. Have a look. So we'll move on to Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Now this one is kind of a throwback for me because I used to love the original Marvel vs. Capcom game, the very first one, the arcade version. And over the years, I kind of haven't really followed the other ones. I know there have been more since then that have come out on the PlayStation, on Xbox, and on PC as well. But I never really followed them. But this trailer came out on Marvel's official website the other day, and I was like, you know what? I actually kind of like this. It's cool. It's got that kind of retro feel to it, that kind of arcade feel to it within the cinematic that they showed, and they've introduced Captain Marvel as a playable character as well, which is pretty outstanding. Guys, did you see this trailer at all? The Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite?
Yeah, I saw it. I've not played fighting games in a long time. But I can see as to why people, it's been a long time coming, so I can see as to why people are excited for it. But what I was thinking about earlier today actually is, are there certain characters that we're not going to see because of what's going on in Marvel? Are we going to see Inhumans over any X-Men? You know what I mean? Are the Fantastic Four going to be missing?
Probably.
You know what I mean? If they are, normally you'd have Mr. Fantastic, right? So say, for example, what are they going to go with Kamala Khan instead because she has stretchy powers? You know what I mean, and stuff like that. So I want to know as to what the Marvel roster is, and I want to know as to whether they want to have it more be a bit like the movies, you know what I mean, and have like kind of things that are familiar from the films, or as to whether they are going to go 100% comic. That's what I want to know. So, well, we won't find that out until 2017. But that's what I want to really know about it. And luckily, this one's coming out. This is multi-plat, so PC, Xbox, and PS4, which is good.
Yeah, everybody will be able to enjoy this one, which is good. In terms of the characters, I couldn't see anything that amongst what I was reading online. So I'm assuming they haven't revealed the official rosters yet, but. In terms of the Marvel roster, I mean, because it's huge, potentially, like it dwarfs what Capcom would have available. I'd imagine they're probably going to stick to characters that they feel
Spider-Man's
are more
totally going to be in there, right?
I would have thought so. Yeah, I would be surprised. I mean, he's been in pretty much every one, every game they've done so far. So yeah, I'd be surprised if Spider-Man isn't in there in some way, shape, or form, especially with a movie coming out as well. So. Yeah, I would expect to see that. Richard, sorry, I almost completely glossed over you there, bro. Sorry, did you see the trailer at all?
Yeah, I saw the trailer. I found it exciting. I don't think I'm along the same lines as both of you guys. I really haven't played a two-player fighting game in years. Not since I had to pump coins into the actual machine in like the local gambling shops and stuff like that. Am I excited to see it? I'm excited to see what characters they're going to unveil. And it's the type of game that I think I would download as a demo, and then, or maybe if it was at my friend's house, maybe just play it, have it on in the background, and then play when it stays on while we're just chilling and stuff. But it's not the type of game that I would actually actively go out and buy, even though I'm a Marvel fan and I am a Capcom fan as well. So in that respect, I mean, I'm excited to see it, but just because I want to know what they're going to unveil. But if it's the type of game that I would buy, I don't think so. I think now all these two-player fighting games, I mean, they're still guaranteed to make money, but as a particular type of gamer now that just plays that game. Like I know people that just play, these two-player fighting games, and they don't play anything else. This is all they do. They just go there and they just practice their stuff. Like Ade, Ade. Ade loves those games. Ade hasn't really played any other kind of computer game in a long time. But if you ask him if he played Street Fighter, he'll probably say, "Yeah, this morning before I went to work," or something crazy like that. So And I'm definitely interested to see what they're going to unveil. But that's about where where the excitement stops for me, unfortunately.
Cool. Sorry, listeners, I should just say Ade is a friend of ours. Just in case you're wondering who Ade was that Richard just mentioned, that's not his alter ego. That's
Yeah. It's not my
there's
alter
actually a
ego.
person.
It's not just some random, African name that we just threw out to get that. Like,
Yeah, because there's we should probably explain that, otherwise the people are like, "What? Who's Ade?" Cool. Fair enough. That's all good. I will cautiously welcome this trailer and recommend it to you guys, the listeners, as well. So again, this is out on YouTube. So if you're curious, you can go and check it out. Just search for Marvel versus Capcom Infinite. And as I said, I believe it's on Marvel's official website as well. Okay, so we're going to get to another game now, which has been highly anticipated for a while. Alvin has done an actual reaction video to this on his YouTube channel, so we'll make sure to link to that on our channel so you can watch his reaction to it as well. But the game is Death Stranding, which is the first game from Hideo Kojima. Anybody who's a gamer will know that name because Kojima has produced some absolute classic games over the years. But Alvin, I'm going to pass the mic to you, man. So I know you've done your reaction videos, so you don't have to necessarily repeat what you've said there, but just give an overview for the listeners of what Death Stranding is kind of about and why gamers are so pumped for it.
Well, nobody knows what the fuck it is about, but it does have some cool imagery, and the trailers for it have had things in there that do look interesting. You've got big actors in there like Norman Reedus and Mads Mikkelsen as well. And I mean, the graphics look great because they are the in-engine graphics, but we've seen fuck all gameplay. So I understand as to why people are hyped up because it's Kojima, and we're all familiar with what he's done and what he's done for gaming. But we're not really seeing anything. We don't know anything. We don't know what the story is. There's only theories about as to what the story is or what the story could be about. And I get why people are hyped up for it. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, calm it down a little bit because we ain't seen shit yet. When we see shit, then we can get excited because it's not like a movie trailer, for example, where it normally does pretty much accurately represent as to what the final product is going to be like. Whereas this are just little kind of short movies, the gameplay at all that we'll be seeing in the game. So at least wait until that point before you start popping your champagne corks.
True. I mean, yeah, that's fair enough, I suppose. But then I guess people are excited because they said it's Hideo Kojima.
Yeah,
so,
but that doesn't. I mean, I get that, but at the same time, I'm just like.
No, but everybody's capable of making a dud at the end of the day. It can happen. So, we there, as you said, there's just so much that's unknown about this game itself in terms of the gameplay, in terms of the dynamics or anything like that. We don't know anything. So we're all kind of just waiting with bated breath and going off of the images of the trailer, which, as you said, are pretty stunning. Rich, did you have any thoughts on Death Stranding?
Yeah, Death Stranding. I mean, I'm excited to see it. I understand why everyone else is excited to see it. And I think the word for today is going to be consistency. I'm not going to try and spell it because it's a bit of a long word, and I don't want to spell it long live on air. Wrong, live on air, yeah? Now, the thing is, I understand why everyone's excited because you need to take into account, Alvin, like, me and you were probably Kojima fans, but then there's the people out there who were doing standing ovations and going crazy, Kojima fans.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like,
but even in saying that though, Metal Gear Solid at times is a little bit convoluted. Like the whole story of the whole thing is fucking nuts. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, but the thing is, but you need to take into account as well. Like Kojima is basically what I was saying about Naughty Dog. He's built this universe over X amount of time. So I can see why they're being excited because, like, he's been consistent. Like, no one can, hit a home run every single time. But then as long as you're still as long as you're still hitting that ball and you're not being struck out, then you're doing pretty good in your career. So, I mean, what he's pulled off or what he's managed to do with the whole Metal Gear Solid franchise in itself, in itself, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like if you consider it, like he's kind of been the person behind the whole thing. He's had the helping hands, I'm sure, with parts of the script and stuff like that. But the story, from what we know, is from him. That's pretty goddamn amazing. So I think is more the main reason why people are super excited is because they were just kind of like afraid that, well, listen, he's been got, Konami have got rid of him,
Yeah,
what's he going to be able to do? And so, like, it's almost like, and take into account, like, Kojima is considered like one of the gaming messiahs.
Mm.
So they've probably been waiting outside his his castle, his temple, saying like, oh no, he's gone for that 1,000-year sleep. And people are saying, well, F it, I'm not going to leave until he comes back out of a new game. And then all of a sudden, the gate opens and he comes walking out and he's like, my followers, this is what I have for you. Anybody's going to be bloody excited for that.
But it's also a bit of a tease though, because there's not even a release date.
Mm.
We're at the very beginnings of the making of this game. Like they're talking about, like, there's a what you call it, like a little conference thing. It was like about 40 minutes to an hour where they're talking about the game engine. That's all they talk about. They're talking about the game engine and that, and how they worked with Guerrilla, who are doing Horizon Zero Dawn. But this it's like a tease. It's like a long tease. Like how much longer you're going to tease? Is every like major gaming event going to have a Death Stranding trailer, and the game's not going to come out until 2020? What's the point in teasing people like that? That's not fair. Okay, well, I'll break it down for you like this, all right? So you've got the whole thing of like everything's a tease, and I'm going to use the word again, consistency. So he'll use the trait, like, this isn't the first time he's done this, and then it wouldn't be the first. Well, I mean, the thing is, if you're talking about the actual game itself, we don't know. We know nothing. But from what he's produced from this trailer alone, that's enough to go off. I know. But literally getting fanboy crazy over it. You can be justified because you like his games and, you like the content that he's put out. That's fine if you're excited for it for those reasons. But if you're excited just for those graphics that you've seen and you've not seen any of the gameplay and you just think it's going to be awesome just because you've seen that trailer, I can't fathom that.
Well, I think he just is the type of character that inspires a cult-like following, as Richard said, because of his consistency and his track record. So, he does kind of inspire that. It's almost like, what's the best equivalent? I guess like in a movie equivalent, if you put it as, say, maybe like someone like Terrence Malick, who is... within film circles is revered as a god of cinema. Outside of that kind of circle, he probably doesn't really have that much reach, and there's probably some people listening who probably never even heard of Terrence Malick before. But, within film circles, he doesn't work very often, and when he does produce something, a trailer for it is generally very abstract. It won't give you any detail about the film at all or anything like that. And yet it generates such huge buzz because of the fact that consistently when he produces these films every so often, there's something that people are left talking about, whether they're good or they're bad or they're indifferent. They're dissected over and over again. And I think with Kojima,
let me put it a different way, though. Let me put it a different way. Okay, all right. I don't want to see a No Man's Sky 2 situation. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. Nobody wants to see that.
To the max, and then the game came out, and everyone was like, "This is actually not as great as we were promised." That's the kind of situation that I wouldn't want to see, because everyone's expectations were just so fucking high. That game was going to change the world, No Man's Sky, and then next thing you know, everyone was just like, "Yo, this isn't even average. You're doing the same thing. You're mining, collecting, selling, trading, next planet, and doing the same thing again." You know what I mean? I'd hate for Death Stranding to have the same kind of thing where everyone's like, "Oh my god, this game's going to suck me off," and then when it doesn't, everyone's angry about it. That's what I think. It's less about whether the game that he puts out is good or not, and our expectations being too high because of those wicked trailers.
True, but like I said, but then it still comes down to the thing of like the reason why everybody can say is the whole thing.
Just rein it in a little.
Definitely. But at the same time, you need to take into account this is the guy that created the Metal Gear Solid universe. That's like Metal Gear Solid universe. Like, is a whole universe that it has its own encyclopedia. So so like I said, so when you come down to these to the fanboys, not us. I mean, we're fans of Kojima, but to the fanboys who have probably at some point said, well, listen, like, is this guy ever going to release anything ever again? And if he is, what's he going to do? Because he's not allowed to use the thing. Give me 2 seconds, Luca. No, not that. Please. Yeah. So that type of thing. So, you can see why they're excited. I mean, like now that I've seen the trailer, in my spare time, at some point, I'm probably going to be getting up. Oh, let me have a look at some fan theories about what people think, is going to be in it, because he's got some. The thing about Kojima, like I said, he's got some pretty decent people, who follow him, who know his work, who in the film industry. So, like I said, he's got Norman Reedus, he's got Mads Mikkelsen, he's got Guillermo del Toro in it. There was another guy who was working on some. What would say?
Yeah, Nicholas
well.
Winding Refn, I think his name is, right?
Yeah.
Oh, is Redfern involved in this as well?
No, but I think he's
is
the one that put him in Del Toro in contact together in the first place or something
Okay.
like that. No, with Norman Reedus or something. Well, I don't know.
I think it was Norman Reedus.
If you watch the convention, like PlayStation Experience Death Stranding, you'll probably find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
He mentions him at some point in regards to tweets, and I think it was maybe getting Mads involved, perhaps. That's how it happened.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, probably it's Mads. It's probably Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah, because they're friends.
Because
Yeah,
they're
because they're friends. Because I mean, like,
Continue,
I mean, this is the first time that, let's say, like, that Kojima's used a director.
we need to move on, but because we've spent a lot of time on Death Stranding.
Okay. Yeah.
So we need to wrap this up. So Richard, just add some final thoughts, yeah?
Hello?
Yeah, just add some final thoughts, mate.
Oh yeah, no. Like I said, no. I definitely see the points that you're making, Ivan. But like I said, we're just fanboys as opposed to the fanboys of Kojima. So I suppose it's just gonna be like like anything, that's has a teaser trailer or trailer and hasn't had anything come out for it yet. We're just gonna have to patiently sit with bated breath and just hope that he doesn't release anything rubbish.
Yep, agreed very much. Well, to wrap up the gaming segment, Richard, you've been playing Final Fantasy 15 this week.
Oh yeah.
The big release. How have you been finding the game, just briefly, and has it been fun? Has there been anything that's captured your imagination about this particular version? And would you recommend it?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Is it the type of game was it worth the 10-year wait? Yes and no, because I think that what they've done story-wise, I mean, I haven't got that far in, but what they've done story-wise is that they've taken it back, like, once again, to the essence of what the Final Fantasy games were good at doing, which is about creating this universe and having you be friends with these characters, but this is way before they started bringing in sequels and trying to continue stories of particular characters. And I mean, just the first 15 minutes of playing the game, and I was stoked. Like, there's a bit. I mean, I'm not going to talk too long about it, but there's a bit where, you meet the characters and the banter between them. You almost feel like you're there. The way the camera angles of the cutscenes, and then you have to end up pushing a car, and you actually have to press one of the buttons to push the car, and then there's a back and forth between the people talking, and then Final Fantasy 15 appears across the top of the screen, and you hear a rendition of Ben E. King's "Stand By Me." And I was just like, yeah, I'm one of the boys. Like I was sold. I was sold, man. Like like they're saying that this is meant to be the equivalent of like a road movie for the boys. And so far, it generally has felt like that. Like I can't actually fault the game in itself right now, apart from like niggling things. Let's say like maybe sometimes faulty controls on particular battles and stuff like that. But the story so far. Yeah, I can't fault it, and it's generally kept me happy.
Cool. Good. And you'd recommend it to other people to try out, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely recommend it. And like I said, I give a big shout out to my boy St. George for borrowing me that game while he's currently playing another one, which I can't remember, so I can't even shout that out.
Cool, man. Al, have you ever been a fan of Final Fantasy franchise? Did you?
No, the only Final Fantasy I played is, I think, 4 on the DS. And I was going to get some of the other ones that they did for the DS, which is now released on mobile. I played like about 5 hours of 7, and that's about it really with me and Final Fantasy. I like the turn-based strategy kind of element that they used to have before they just turned into that weirdness. But it turns out turn-based fighting game for fighting in RPGs nobody likes anymore apparently. So I'm kind of gutted that's gone.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it is a shame, but then I guess that's the way it goes, isn't it? People's tastes change, man. Things move on. So let's move on ourselves onto TV. Quickly, we're going to touch upon the big DC TV crossover event for the CW shows, Heroes versus Aliens. I've not seen anything about this at all because I've been watching Supergirl mainly recently. Yes, I've been watching Supergirl. Fuck you, I don't care. I love that show and I don't give a shit what nobody says. But obviously being away, I've missed a couple of episodes, so I need to kind of catch up and stuff. But Alvin, I know you kind of have one eye on events, so to speak. How is that shaping up?
Yeah, Monsters v Aliens. Yeah, I'll tell you now, the Supergirl episode you don't actually need to see. That was kind of a con to get you to watch Supergirl to increase its ratings, probably, because what happens at the end of Supergirl? Well, obviously it's Flash connected, and you see the last scene of Supergirl is actually in the Flash, so you don't need to see the Supergirl episode. Really, it's technically 3 episodes, with the weakest being the Arrow one in the middle. Longest is it's a toss up between Flash and Legends of Tomorrow, because the Legends one is where everything comes to a head and it has the most effects and CGI in it and whatnot. And it very much reminds you of an Avengers movie, just because they constantly do that thing where they pan around and you see everyone fighting and various different things and team ups and all this kind of crap. So it was all right. I thought it was pretty decent. And, you know, it was a hard task to get all the characters in. My only negative would be that sometimes certain characters would just disappear and there'd be no explanation about where they went or where they were. And then they'll just come back later on when they were needed, and then that was it. But that's what happens when you're juggling about 15 characters.
Yeah, it's always difficult, isn't it, when you've got that many characters on there? But yeah. I mean, it sounds kind of interesting. But said, I'm way behind, so I need to catch up on all of that. But yeah, definitely, listeners, check out Heroes versus Aliens, the DC TV crossover event. It's funny you should mention, Alvin, that the Arrow one was, in your opinion, the weakest, because on social media, that seemed to be the one everybody was raving about.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I was just kind of like, not to spoil it or anything, but it was... No, actually, no, I won't say anything, no.
Well, no, say it. Like, anybody who's listening and they haven't seen it, you know, you've got the count of 5 to cover your ear, starting from now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alvin, let it roll.
Okay, so I'm going to go a bit old school like you normally do, Richard, and just pretty much say, yo, it's Dallas, innit? You know what I mean? It's Who Shot JR kind of thing. You know how it all turned out to be a dream? Well, the way freaking, what happens at the end of the Flash, yeah? Pretty much they're in a freaking, like, computer that's giving them, like, a bullshit fantasy version of, like, their lives and that. And I don't like it. It's a dream episode. It's bullshit. It's like, why? It's so fucking lazy. I get it. It's interesting seeing an alternate version of what these characters could have been like if everything worked out fucking happily and yada, yada, yada. But it's played out. It's fucking lazy. You only did that so you could just focus on the Arrow characters for the Arrow episode. You know what I mean? Whereas the other 2 episodes was about everybody. You know what I mean? Whereas this middle one, you just went, let's just focus on the Arrow characters. And also, let's not spend a lot of money and make sure that a majority of the episode is in camera and real world shit. That's what it seemed like to me. So I didn't think it was that fly like everybody else. I thought it was a bit lazy, because I just switched off because I know what's going to happen anyway. I was like, you're going to break out this fucking dream and then you're going to be on a spaceship and I saw it happen. I saw it. I'm fucking psychic.
Yeah, I've never really been a fan of that kind of dream. Oh, it was all a dream type.
It's just so lazy.
It's yeah, it's a bit of a cop out to me, really. So yeah, I think I might skip that then after you've said that. All right, cool. And Richard, you watched the Westworld finale, right?
Oh God, that was so good.
Yeah.
Well,
Westworld.
Yeah, listeners, I'm way behind
my
on Westworld, so I'm going to let Richard summarize his thoughts on the finale, and then Alvin, you can jump in as well.
Sweet.
So,
you know what? No, Alvin, let's go in together, man. Let's hold each other's hand and just jump in the deep end, man. Because I can't swim, but I'm prepared to take the plunge, man. But it was just like for TV. Okay, I'm going to break down for anybody who hasn't seen Westworld, the TV show as of yet. It's an amazingly written show. That's number 1. Number 2, it's probably the best written show out there as well. You got some people like, you know, right now you probably got top 3, so it's probably going to toss up between The Walking Dead, Westworld,
Yeah.
and
Take the Walking
Game
Dead
of
back.
Thrones. Right? I had someone kiss their teeth back in
that was
the
Jason.
Yeah, that was me. You can take the Walking Dead
and
that list. But yeah, go
and
on.
and the thing is, like, if you're talking about a well written and well acted show, then Westworld ticks those boxes 100% for me. And I generally do believe, as much as I enjoy Game of Thrones, you know, and I put it in inverted commas, it's just something that that I enjoy now because I'm invested in. It doesn't make me think. He's got a couple of theories here and there, and it's like, okay, cool, let me catch up with it. But the Westworld TV show, and I mean especially this finale. I mean, I don't know if you knew this piece of information, Alvin, but you know that Ed Brubaker wrote a couple of the episodes.
No, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, like I'm like literally, I was watching the credits and like I saw his name pop up and I was like, that's not any old name that you just find. Like Ed Brubaker, that's a pretty much not very common name. So I literally just googled it and they were like, yeah, I think he wrote like 2 or 3 episodes, and there's one of the episodes that had one of the super twists in it. And I was like, well, if anybody's gonna do a super twist, it might as well be fucking Ed Brubaker, right? Like, the guy who brought back the Winter Soldier, like, or the guy who brought back Bucky Barnes, you know. So yeah, like the show's amazing, and this final episode. To tell the truth, the reason why I haven't even started speaking about it yet is because I still need to get my head around it. So Alvin, that's where I'm gonna leave the final episode to you.
Episode now, yeah, because the show's it's a slow burner, but it's not in a way like it leads up to one thing. There's many things going on at the same time. And the show doesn't treat you like a fucking manga. It treats you like a smart person. You know what I mean? You don't really have to figure anything out. You just need to pay attention. So when you find out something, you know it makes sense because you've been paying attention.
Yeah.
And there was something that they did in this final episode, like halfway through, where somebody says something, and it just triggered a thought in my mind, and I went, nah,
yeah,
like, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, the story progresses, and then you just go, holy shit, this show is fucking wicked, and it's smart as fuck, and I'm glad that I found it interesting, and it's oh my fucking god, it's like it's just too good. They just wrote it too good from the beginning. They knew what they were doing from the start. It's not one of these shows where they decided to like change it halfway through or whatever, or they didn't really know. It's like this is set up from the beginning to be a specific way, and it carries that out, and it reaches a crescendo, and there's just wicked things in there, and man, it is just done so fucking well that I totally get why it's not coming back until 2018. I totally get as to why freaking they're taking so long to do the next series, because it was a hard show to make in the first place anyway. And normally I'd be pissed off if a show was taking a year break before it came back. But with this, I want them to have the same kind of storytelling, for them to go in deep the way they do constantly, and just for it to be fucking a wicked second season. And I can't wait what they're going to do next to kind of keep it interesting, because I don't think whatever they are going to do is going to be generic, which I am.
Yeah.
Definitely watch it if you're not seeing it. You've got to watch it. For some it will be boring, but the payoff is brilliant.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, that's definitely one I'm going to be catching up on over Christmas. That's been storing up on my DVR, so yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching that. Cool. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up soon, but before we do that, Richard has been watching.
Watching what? What? Okay, sorry, I cut you off there. Continue, continue, sir. Continue.
It sounded like you just had an attack of Tourette's there. Richard has been watching the movie Ghostbusters this week, and you actually had an idea for a potential sequel that you wanted to pitch, right? So, all right. So, Alvin, me and you are going to be 2 studio executives at Sony.
No, wait. This one's going to cut you off. Like, basically, I've literally just got like just the idea. It still needs to be fleshed out.
That's
all right,
okay.
Yeah. So basically,
listen to our proposal. Hold on a moment. Alvin, you and I are 2 executives at Sony. That means we don't give a fuck about storyline. We don't give a damn about plot. We don't give a damn about anything else. We just want you to give us a story that we can sell. We're busy hoovering up cocaine at the moment, so we have no time for any of the details. So, Richard, you have 2 minutes to give us your pitch for Ghostbusters 2, and I'm starting the clock now. Go.
Okay. So basically, I'm going to base the sequel of Ghostbusters 2 off that throwaway line at the end of the credits. So if anybody stayed behind at the end of the credits of Ghostbusters, the reboot with done by Paul Feig, basically they're listing out to to other dimensions, and I think one of the characters basically says, what did you hear? And she basically goes, oh well, what's Zool? And basically they go, oh, they don't know. And then, then the screen cuts to black. So basically, what I would say to save this franchise, I'd basically make it a multi-dimensional franchise. Basically, I would do like this. This universe, the reason why we weren't able to figure out whether it was some form of reboot or whether it was some form of continuation of the original story, which had, Bill Murray and everybody in like that, is because it was actually set in another universe that's all connected. So the cameos by Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and the guy who plays Winston, basically they are the guy, Ernie Hudson. They are our versions of the people in another universe who would have been Peter Venkman or Winston Zedmore. So the main bad villain would be Zool, and what he's doing is basically trying to collect all the other Zools for all the other dimensions, and is going to try and destroy all the Ghostbusters throughout the universes. So the sequels will be basically all the Ghostbusters in other universes, teaming up together to fight against Zool. So in the sequel, you'd probably have the older one. So you'd have the Bill Murray, and you'd have Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson, and Dan Aykroyd teaming up with the girls Ghostbusters. And then in another universe, you'd have like another casting of the Ghostbusters, somewhat similar to how they've done with the reboot of Star Trek with Chris Pine playing Captain Kirk. And it would be a trilogy where they all basically end up teaming up to fight against Zool to save the Ghostbusters universe.
Well done. Done just inside 2 minutes.
Okay,
Executive Alvin, what are you thinking? Should we write the $300 million check for this? To be honest, we could just go to Heidi Flights and spend that money right now. So,
What you said about the multiverse thing, that's already been established anyway. Yeah. If you look online, that is actually what it is. It's this first new one is set in an alternate universe entirely, and so there are other universes or universi with Ghostbusters in it. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably go and see that if it featured the originals more prominently than these new ones, even without seeing the first one. But would I give money of it? Executive movie producer Alvin. I'll give you, how much did you say? 300 million?
Yeah, let's say we've got 300 mil to spend. That includes marketing and everything else.
Yo, I'll give you fucking two. Wait, just to do the one film or the trilogy? Obviously, you can't do a trilogy on 300 million.
No.
Okay, we'll do you what? I'll give him 200 million. I'd say we should give 200 million.
200, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, 200, and then we keep another 100 for the hookers and coke.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
All right. I think I'm happy to sign off on that. No, it sounds interesting. Yeah, the multiverse thing. I actually didn't know that when I watched the new Ghostbusters film. So
listen. See that thing that you said, Alvin. Alvin, you're the only other person who knew that, because for someone who dislikes the film so much, I'm actually surprised you even know that about information about
it. I just know all the stuff.
Alvin's a closet fan. Ladies and gentlemen, he's a closet fan. He pretends.
I need to correct you. You said that obviously taking down Zool. It's not Zool that's the important thing. It's Gozer. But I'll let that slide.
See, there you go, man. See, this is the reason why. This is why we need to make the sequels, man.
All right, well done, Rich, for that pitch. That was a good one, man. All right, well, listeners, thanks a lot for hanging out with us tonight. Before we go, actually, let me do some shout-outs as well, because as we've been going up to our 11th podcast, we've managed to gather together a small but loyal following of people who have been really supportive to us and what we've been doing across all social media, and especially with the podcast itself. So let me give a few shout outs out. So first of all, let me big up some people from Instagram who've been following us. I want to big up Graceful Viking, Yellow Rage Attacks, Drag Meme, Cream Pogs, Paola Solis from Bolivia, who listens to us every week. Hello. George as well. Richard has shouted him out several times. What's up, George?
FX.
Yes, Goho Effects. Leanne, hey there, Leanne. Dion and Dean as well, who've been loyal from day one and have been following us from day one. Thank you, boys. Love the support. Keep it coming. Was anybody else I missed, Rich?
Listeners, is this just are these just IG fans?
Just
or IG
Instagram
followers?
people. Yeah.
Cheryl Blue.
Well, I'm gonna get to that. Don't worry.
Okay. Then I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Cool. You just said that to begin with, you fool. Okay, well, let me also give a shout out to a few other podcasters as well, because there's a lot of podcasters who've given us some great feedback recently. And some of them actually have some fantastic shows themselves as well. So if you're out there in the market for some new podcasts, then I can heartily recommend these people to you. So first of all, let me big up Jay Del Negro from the By Chance podcast, which is like a storytelling podcast with interviews with different people who kind of tell their own stories. And he's managed to get together some really interesting people as well. So if you like listening to kind of sort of social history stories and just, you know, stories about ordinary folks and things that they do, then that's well worth a follow. A Beardo and a Weirdo Talk Film. They do movie reviews and debates, and it's usually very funny, so check them out. The boys from Too Uncool podcast, they're back once again. They were gone for a little while, but they've upgraded and they're back and better than ever. So make sure you check them out as well. Glenn and Massey, big up to them. Just in Time podcast have been supporting us from day one as well. Really good podcast, actually very, very funny podcast. Talk about comics, movies, politics, culture. They enjoy their dank weed as well. We're going to have to smoke a big one with you sometime. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we will. Two Shots in a Brew podcast have been really keeping me entertained as well over the past couple of weeks. I had a lovely chat on Twitter with Miss L, the Brit Abroad. She's part of their team, but they've got like a whole group of people there. Harv, and there's Chris and Krista, and I've forgotten the host's name, and I'm so sorry. But that's a really good podcast, so check that out. Two Shots in the Brew. Broken Elevator, fellow Londoners as well, fellow black guys as well. Hey, black people, we take it over, man. They do film pitches, very interesting, very funny as well, and with a uniquely British point of view, so got to big them up. Also, want to give a quick shout out to Podcast versus Podcast as well. The Podcast Brothers have been supporting us as well, so thank you. Big shout out to Daisy from Unfolded Nightmares. Her podcast is brilliant as well, especially if you love kind of horror and you know, true crime stories and things like that. You've got to check that out. It's a really good podcast. Randy from Miserable Retail Slave, which is really funny. Check that out. Pepper and the Salt Shaker podcast. Open All Powers podcast, another group of Brits as well who talk comic book movies and stuff like that. Really, really good. We Got the Jazz, Kedda and Jay, The Critical Dump, Jake and Tom from the Drunken Dork podcast. And last, but by no means least, we've got to big up my girl, Cheryl Blue, and Miss Janice Mad News as well from the award-nominated Tea and Biscuits podcast, which has actually been nominated for a Screen Nation award in the UK. So, Cheryl, big up yourself, man. We've known Cheryl for a very, very long, you know, and to see that she's doing so well with podcasting and that she's actually been nominated for an award is just amazing and well deserved as well, because she's one of the most hardworking people I know in this game. So you know, big up to her every time. And it was her birthday the other day as well, so happy birthday to you, Cheryl.
Yeah, happy birthday, happy belated birthday, Cheryl.
Yeah, man, cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, that'll do it for us, man. It's been fun. It's been nice to slip back into the podcasting chair after the break. But yeah, I think that will do it for us, guys. But as it's Christmas, or the run up to Christmas, I was thinking, you know, maybe we could do a couple more podcasts in before the Christmas break and everybody goes home to see their families and get fat on turkey and drunk on, you know, eggnog and all that stuff. So yeah, we're cool to come back and do another one next week, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Cool.
well, what day next week?
It's a good question. We'll talk it out. We'll talk it out.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
let you know,
yeah, yeah,
listeners.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
if you make sure you follow us on social media, then you'll get all the
yeah.
updates you need. We actually now have a Facebook page as well. I'm still trying to work my way around Facebook because I really can't stand it. Anybody knows me knows I can't stand Facebook, but we've got one. So if you have Facebook, please look for Wulong Talks on Facebook and like our page. You'll get updates there as to when we're recording next. So definitely make sure you follow the Facebook page if you want more details about when we're going to be on next. Okay, Rich, where can people find you online if they want to have a chat with you?
Instagram at Rich Reviews, and also for the both of us at Wulong Talks. Obviously, the website www.wulongtalks.com. Twitter for me, Rich Reviews. Use it, and that's not going to change for a little while, I don't think, until someone tells me off. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, someone out there in Listerland really needs to teach Rich how to use Twitter. It's kind of embarrassing, and he's letting the site down, to be honest. Alvin, where can people find you online, man?
You can find me on Twitter at BigA85GL. If you do hit me up on Twitter, tell me you came from the podcast, and I might just follow you back. And on Instagram, same again at BigA85GL.
Cool, and I operate the Twitter account as well, so please feel free to come and say hi to me. We are at Wulong Talks on Twitter. I haven't been tweeting much, as said. My excuse has been I've been away, but I'm back, so I will be rectifying that very soon. So please come and follow us on Twitter. Make sure you like the Facebook page. If you're listening to this on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and share. And if you're listening to us on SoundCloud, please like and share and let your buddies know as well. All right, that's it for us. We're out of here, man. Say goodbye, Alvin.
Peace out.
Say goodbye, Richard.
Live long and prosper.
All right, and we're gone. Peace, people.